Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today we are doing messages for air signs for this Taurus season. So this may apply to your sun, moon, rising, or Venus if you have any of those, if you have any air signs in those planets. But anyways, I'm gonna start off with Aquarius and I'll be leaving the timestamps down below for all of the signs so that you can just move forward to them if you need to. So yeah, starting off with Aquarius. Let's see what's going on for you, what you need to know for this Taurus season. I'm using the Modern Witch Tarot if you're interested in checking it out. So yeah. Let's see, so what's going on for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? What does Aquarius need to know this Taurus season? What messages need to come through for them for this Taurus season? Some of you might be feeling stuck in something or like in a situation or a phase in your life. I feel like some of you might be feeling stuck. So a few cards flipped over. There was one that flipped over. We have that one that came over. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we have for you, Aquarius, we're starting off with the Knight of Wands. We have Justice reversed. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands reversed. We have Temperance, and we have the Four of Cups reversed. At the bottom of the deck is a Page of Swords reversed. So having this at the bottom of the deck, Aquarius, it seems as though some of you might be kind of going through some sort of phase of like wanting to rebel, or might just be really feeling frustrated or unsure as to what you want to do with your life, what you want to do in terms of career or maybe in love or whatever the case might be. It's this feeling of like not really knowing what you want, saying that you want one thing but wanting something different. That's what the Page of Swords talks about when it's reversed, is someone who wants something, or someone who says something but they mean something completely different, or they say something but their actions do not reflect what they say. It like the actions and words don't match up together. So this can read as perhaps you, Aquarius, saying, I really want to be this, but in actuality you want to be something else, or you say that you want this but in actuality you want this. So it's that kind of energy here of either basically not being entirely honest about your intentions or being entirely honest about your feelings, whether it's because you feel like your true feelings will be rejected, or because people don't understand you or wouldn't understand you if you were to express how you truly feel about something, or wouldn't understand your true intentions. Maybe you feel that they would be rejected in some way. So that's kind of what it looks like. Also, with the Page of Swords reverse, you might find yourself being really harsh with people. Page of Swords reverse has like a really sharp tongue, and they can be really hurtful. And so whether this is intentional or unintentional, it's so incredibly important for you to be aware of taking out your frustrations on other people. You know, just because you don't know what to do with your life doesn't mean you should take that out on other people. It doesn't mean that you should lash out on those who only want the best for you. And even though they may not understand what you're going through, it's still it's still not warranted. It's still like it's not justifiable to just like lash out against others just because you're feeling frustrated, or because you're feeling lost or misunderstood or whatever the case might be. So it seems as though there's some sort of imbalance that you might be experiencing, Aquarius, with this Justice card reversed, signifying imbalance. And it seems as there is this imbalance between wanting to be free, wanting to be your own person, wanting to be an adult, wanting to be independent, but also still being very young. Page of Pentacles, still being very young. Excuse me. Oh my God, I have like, okay. Still being very young, still learning, still lacking a lot of worldly experience. Perhaps some of you are still a student. Some of you might be feeling like, oh wow, like I can't wait to grow up and be my own person and be independent and no longer depend on others, right? Like you just want to be free. Like you want to have that sense of freedom. You want to be able to call your own shots and do whatever you want to do. But it seems like you still have a lot of learning to do with this Page of Pentacles. Like this is a student. This person still has like their little backpack on. They're still learning what life is. They're still learning how to manage their money, or they're still learning how to be an adult, essentially, like learning how to adult, learning how to be aware in terms of like the adult world, and like learning how to pay bills and like so on and so forth, right? Just learning how to do the essential things that are required as an adult. And it seems like you might not be entirely aware of the responsibilities that come with being fully grown and fully independent, and perhaps don't really see the bigger picture, or maybe not, you don't see like that it's not as easy. Like being an adult or being free isn't as fun or isn't as easy as one might expect or one might believe, you know? Having freedom comes with a sense of responsibility. It comes at the cost of more responsibility, needing to take more accountability for yourself. And so that's kind of what it looks like, is like, you know, you can't always just have this unrestricted freedom and just do whatever the fuck you want all of the time with no consequences at all. You know what I'm saying? And even though that is definitely like an ideal, Aquarius, you know, there has to be a balance between the two. You can have a balance between being young and being inexperienced and still learning, versus wanting to go out, wanting to have a sense of freedom, wanting a sense of independence, right? Like there's has to be a balance between this structure and the rebellion, I guess you could say. You know, like there has to be kind of like a sense of compromise here. And also just like an awareness and discernment, I guess you could say, that, you know, it all kind of comes with a cost. More freedom, more responsibility. And if you're willing to take that on, and if you're able to take that on, perfect, awesome. But just know that like it's not necessarily like always the easiest of things. Not impossible, but I'm just saying like it's not as easy as one might think, and it's not as I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how to finish that thought, but that's kind of what it seems like, Aquarius. And it seems that some of you might be having your defenses up, like having your guard up, Nine of Wands reversed. And some of you might need to let your guard down. If some of you are having issues with, like, for example, parents, in terms of you wanting to be your own person, you wanting to be free, you no longer wanting to be dependent on your parents because you don't want them to like basically hold things over your head. It's possible that like your parents might have your best interests at heart. Maybe they don't completely understand you. Maybe they don't see things the way that you see them, but try to level with them, okay? If this is like a parent thing, try to level with them, try to see things from their perspective, and try to compromise with them as well. Find some sort of middle ground and let down your guard rather than just keeping everything inside and thinking like, I'm so misunderstood. Well, if you feel like you're misunderstood, are you putting in the effort to explain yourself without pointing the finger? You know, it has to be a two-way thing here. It's not just a one-way road. So there has to be effort on both parts. Obviously, if parents just like aren't listening, they don't want to listen, that's a completely different story. But if they do want to listen, if they do want to help, and if they do have your best interest at heart, you know, you have to level with them at one point or another. You know, you can't just be like this reckless rebel without a cause, with no reason, just rebelling just to do it against your parents. You know, because then it's not used effectively. Your rebelliousness isn't used effectively. It's just used to boost your ego, so to speak, to like go against something that, you know, might help you in some sort of way. Does that kind of make sense? So anyways, it seems that there has to be some sort of balance here, right? Again, temperance and justice really reversed really talks about finding a balance between these two aspects of yourself, these two aspects of yourself, and finding balance between allowing yourself to be vulnerable and opening up so that others can help you. Because if you refuse to just like let anyone in, or if you refuse to let anyone try to understand you, then like you're doing a disservice to yourself, you know? Especially if these people, or if anyone, whether it's your parents or your friends, like if they are willing to understand, and if they're willing to try to put themselves into your shoes, by all means, take that opportunity so that everyone involved can grow. And with the Four of Cups reversed, we have, this could be you feeling really scattered, feeling like you don't really know what to do. And right above that was the Page of Pentacles. So this could be you feeling incredibly scattered and kind of feeling unstable in your life, Aquarius, feeling like you don't know who you want to be. You don't know, things kind of feel just like unstable in your life in some way, feeling like you don't know who you are, kind of just almost having like an existential or identity crisis of not really knowing your purpose. Kind of just feeling lost, feeling kind of scattered, feeling just really over it, but also not really accepting the help of others, just kind of pushing everyone away and thinking that you can do it on your own. And while some of you might be able to do it on your own, it feels like some of you might need to just like reach out and ask for help so that you can have better insight as to how to handle whatever situation that you are experiencing. You know, just because you feel that you have all of this worldly knowledge and you feel like you've been through a lot, there's still so much that you can learn from others. There's still like so much that you can learn through other people's experiences and from their point of views and so on and so forth. You don't have to do everything on your own. Don't boost your ego up to say, well, I know everything, like I've been through so much. That's fine. You know, that's fine. But, you know, a lot of you may still be really young and still not have a clue as to what you're doing. And that's fine. You know, it's okay if you don't know everything, you know, you don't have to front like you do. So that's kind of what it seems like for you, Aquarius. Overall, be open to the help of others. Be open to compromise with others. Be open to let down your guard, and whatever feelings of anger or feelings of distress or frustration or resentment that you have, you know, find a way to release that. Find an outlet, whether this is journaling, whether it's talking to someone that you love and trust, whether this is talking to a therapist or a counselor or whoever. Like, help yourself so that others can help you. Does that make sense? There has to be a balance found between this freedom and then this like sort of learning thing. You can have both within moderation. You can, and like, you know, going to one extreme or the other isn't good. If you're just like this person who's very like rigid, follows the rules, and you only do what is expected of you, obviously you're going to be miserable. But if you pull on the leash a little too much and you just do things with it without any sort of abandon, that also is messy. It's tricky. So there has to be a level of balance and compromise that you need to find, Aquarius, and be willing to compromise rather than just being stuck on, no, I want it to be this way. I just want to be free. I want to be free. I want to be free. Like, just you know, just find some balance there. So yeah, be open to the help of others. And at the end of the day, like, it's up to you whether or not you want to change your reality, whether or not you want to change yourself, whether or not you want to change your circumstances, how you react to things and how you approach things, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope it resonates. Let me know in the comments down below if it does. Share with anyone if you want to. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi Gemini, welcome back. Today we are doing your Taurus season messages. So this may apply to Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So yeah, keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it may not apply to everyone, and that's okay. All right, so let's see what's going on for you, Gemini. What do you need to know for Taurus season? There's Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to know for Taurus season. Okay. 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 All right, so the 10 of Cups reversed and the 6 of Cups reversed both came out. We have strength. You could be dealing with a Leo. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the King of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. And we have the Ace of Swords reversed. Girl. All right, Gemini. So it seems that some of you might be sabotaging yourselves, whether this is in your family life, your friendship life, your romantic life. There's some sort of self-sabotage going on here with this Ace of Swords reversed at the bottom of the deck. There's something going on here, and it seems that some of you, it seems that some of you might be staying in some sort of situation, whether it's a relationship or a friendship. Some of you are staying in some sort of situation, an interpersonal relationship that is not fulfilling you. It feels kind of disappointing. This might be something from the past, or it might be something that keeps on repeating itself. 6 of Cups reversed. It seems that this is something that keeps on repeating itself, or you may have known this person for a very long time. And if you haven't known each other for a very long time, it just seems like you keep on going back to past habits, to old habits with this person, to old patterns with this person, just repeating the same old things in hopes to get this outcome that perhaps at one point you reached, right? But it doesn't seem like that's needs to be happening again. Like, whatever it is that you're trying to chase or achieve or attain with this person, like, it doesn't seem that whatever you're chasing is going to happen again, if that makes sense. Because with the 6 of Cups reversed, this is someone who is chasing after an ideal, someone who is chasing after something that happened before. So for example, when I see this card, I think of someone who had like a really shitty relationship with someone, right? And even though they had this shitty relationship, they don't want to let go of this person because they're stuck on the idea, like, well, in the beginning they were really loving and they were really charming and we were so in love and yada yada yada. And so they're like, I have to give it another try, because what if it turns out like that again? And it's like, well, has it turned out like that the last 10 times? No. So how is it going to be any more likely this time? That's kind of what this card is saying here. So some of you might be staying or going back to some sort of unhealthy relationship or friendship, any sort of interpersonal relationship, or even like job that is just not emotionally fulfilling. And for others of you, whether this is like something that has been repeating or this is just like an ongoing relationship, there was never really like an on and off sort of thing. If this is like an ongoing relationship that you just refuse to let go of, it seems as though there is this idea of staying to make others happy, staying to appease other people, to impress other people, whether it's in terms of like making them proud of you, or because they think that the other person is like really great, or you know, like they really like the person, like they approve of this person, or you know, it's just because of something that has to do with status or something like that. Because with the 10 of Cups reversed, this talks to me about staying in a situation in order to appease others or to impress them in some sort of way, basically to make others happy, whether this means to make the partner happy or to make the for example, like parents happy because they approve of this person, or to make the friends happy for whatever reason. You know, it's kind of what that's what that's talking about. And so it seems as though you're staying under the guise of like, well, I have to be strong for this relationship. I have to, you know, I'm the one who keeps it all together. I'm the one who, you know, makes everything feel stable. I'm the one who keeps, you know, everything intact, or whatever the case might be. And it's like, okay, but you say that you do all of this, but are you happy doing it? Are you happy like carrying the relationship on your back? Are you happy feeling disappointed all of the time by this relationship? Are you happy having the short end of the stick? Are you happy being with someone or being in a friendship with someone who is not emotionally invested? Also, this could just be your own energy of not feeling emotionally invested, but it just seems like this is the archetype that some of you might keep on going back to. 6 of Cups reversed. This might be the archetype of someone that you just continuously go back to, or the person that you have been with this entire time, or the friend that you have been friends with this entire time, someone who's emotionally available or puts you down, or who's just really harsh, or has like some sort of weird moral high horse or whatever, or like moral conduct that just like is just unattainable. And it seems like some of you might be just exerting far too much of your energy into this relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic. And it seems that you require more self-care. You require to tend to your own needs rather than the needs of others. And it seems that by continuing to be in this friendship or relationship, you continue to hurt yourself and deplete yourself of your own energy, and like making sure that you're okay, right? And it seems that on the outside, this relationship might seem really fun and really happy and really lively, but on the inside, we have the 5 of Cups, which is disappointment, loneliness, sadness, not being happy, like it doesn't seem all that happy-go-lucky. It doesn't seem like the relationship that you want. So what's the point? And so we have the Ace of Swords reversed, right? Bottom of the deck. And then 5 of Pentacles reversed. This is saying how you need to help yourself in this situation. No one is going to take you out of it, especially if they don't know what's going on. No one is going to hold your hand throughout the process of trying to cut things off, or having a serious discussion with this person, or whatever the case might be. Like, you need to help yourself. You need to open your eyes up, rather than trying to be in denial, or rather than trying to be like, oh, I have to be strong for this relationship. Because if this person is not emotionally invested, why should you? Match the energy. Like, if they don't care, why should you? Honestly. And so it seems that some of you kind of fear cutting things off, or fear speaking your mind for whatever reason it might be. Maybe just like fearing just being uncomfortable, and the potential of just like being on your own after however long. And you know, that might be an uncomfortable thought for you. But at the same time though, like, just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And there might be some good that comes out of this discomfort. Does that make sense for you, Gemini? So overall, it's up to you to basically like take this sword and to point it towards that which no longer serves you and cutting it out, rather than pointing it to yourself and like hurting yourself essentially, because you only like just end up disappointing yourself. And staying in a relationship for the reason of making other people happy is not a good reason to stay in that relationship. Like, if you're doing it to make for example, your parents happy, or to make your friends happy because they like this person, does not mean you have to stay. You're not in this relationship for them. You're in this relationship for you. And if you're not happy, it's okay if you leave. It's okay. So it really seems like you require developing some inner strength and developing a stronger sense of worth and confidence, and believing that not only you can do this and that you can cut this person off and that you are worthy of something better, but that you are worthy of just being independent and worthy of having your needs met and worthy of loving yourself and being loved the way that you require to be loved. Does that make sense? So that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope it resonates. I hope it helps. Comment down below if you'd like. I'll leave everything down below if you want to check it out, like my social media and stuff. If not, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi Libra, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, and today we are doing we're pulling some messages for you for Taurus season. So this may apply to Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Some of that being said, let's go to get started. So let's see what's going on for you, Libra. What do you need to know for this Taurus season? What does Libra need to know for Taurus season? Okay. So we have a few cards that fell out. All right, so we have the Seven of Cups reversed, and the Nine of Wands reversed, the Nine of Swords, Six of Swords reversed, Ace of Pentacles reversed, Knight of Pentacles reversed, and the bottom of the deck is your card, Queen of Swords reversed. And then under that is the High Priestess reversed. Some of you are having trouble listening to your intuition. So for some of you, there's two ways to see this. One way, some of you are really overwhelmed by your emotions, and your emotions might be getting in the way of logically and objectively viewing a situation. And it might be clouding your judgment. It might be clouding your intuition. For others of you, you might be on the other end of the spectrum where you are placing way too much value on logic and on very black and white perspectives, and not really focusing on like the gray areas, or not taking the gray areas into consideration. And it kind of leads to this very rigid mindset, this very rigid, like it's either this or that sort of approach and perspective, which also blocks off your intuition, also blocks off from listening to your higher self and having a sort of connection to your guides. Also, the Queen of Swords reverse kind of reads as an ice queen. Someone who's just like really ruthless, someone who's really cold, and someone who is very like on guard. So whatever the case might be, right? For some of you who have kind of turned out cold, or like turned very cold, it seems that this is kind of like a mask, because on the inside it seems that you are like really overwhelmed with a lot of anxiety, because we have the Nine of Swords. It's like on the outside, you make it seem like everything is fine and that you are unaffected, or that you are not impacted by anything that's going in, you know, in your outside life, whatever that might be, you know, especially with everything going on, right? You might be putting on this brave face and acting like you are unaffected, and acting like you don't care, like nothing impacts you, just being really unfazed, right? But it seems that once you take off all the makeup, all the jewelry, the outfit, everything. Once that mask comes off, what's left is someone who feels really vulnerable, someone who has issues with self-esteem, with self-worth, someone who feels incredibly anxious, someone who is working themselves up. This person doesn't really know what they want, or they don't know what to do or how to feel. They just feel really overcome by this strong sense of anxiety and wondering what is right or what is wrong, or just feeling like something is in the back of your mind. This is what this is. Just feeling really overwhelmed by something, whatever this is, right? Stressing out a lot about something, whether this is about money, whether this is about love, or whatever the case is, right? Whatever it is. Maybe this is something that is in relation to your past. Maybe someone in your past really hurt you and really put you down in terms of your self-esteem and your self-worth. Six of Swords reverse would be lingering in the past. Ace of Pentacles reverse would be issues with self-worth. Not feeling stable within yourself. Some of you might be feeling really disillusioned with life. I wonder if you have been just like heartbroken by someone, if someone really deeply hurt you because they sold you a pipe dream and you fell for it, right? You fell for this illusion that they were selling you. You fell for this idea, this fantasy that they were selling you, and then, you know, maybe you didn't see the red flags, or maybe you ignored them, whatever the case may be. And so it may have led to this sort of heartbreak, or this really extreme disappointment that was kind of like the final straw, so to speak. And it led to you becoming this ice queen and no longer wanting to put your guard down, just being really defensive, being very cold and kind of austere, I guess you could say, not wanting to let anyone in. And now we have all of these repressed emotions and repressed feelings and thoughts and so on and so forth, and they're not being dealt with. But at the same time, there is still this sort of resentment and like this vengeful nature of just like, I feel so betrayed, just like lingering in the mindset of like, I feel so betrayed. I feel like just replaying the whole scenario in your mind and just like continuing to live in that reality of despising this person or resenting this person or even resenting yourself. And it just continues perpetuating into this cycle, and it leads to just like further anxiety and further anger, further resentment, and so on and so forth. And so we have this Knight of Pentacles reversed, which can talk about inconsistency. Maybe you have tried to help yourself, but maybe it was just easier to feel the resentment and to continue being angry. Or maybe you kind of wanted to just give up because it was just a very difficult path. Sorry, like there are people outside my window just being weird. It may have felt like a difficult path to follow because healing isn't necessarily always the easiest of things to do. So the path to healing might be something that you're kind of delaying in your life, which is completely understandable. But at the same time, though, it's up to you to heal yourself. And, you know, like, obviously, like, if you want to better yourself, if you no longer want to continue dealing with the anxiety or with whatever it is that you're feeling, with the loneliness or this sort of angst that you might be feeling, you know, something has to give. And so this doesn't mean that you have to reach out to whoever hurt you and be like, I'm so sorry, or not even apologize to them, but like asking them for an apology or asking for closure, whatever it is. Like, you don't have to reach out to them. This person doesn't have to be in your life again, especially if they really hurt you. But that anger or that resentment or whatever it is that you feel towards this person or towards this situation has to be released. And it doesn't mean that you absolutely have to forgive this person. It might help some of you, although, you know, like, I'm not going to say that you have to forgive this person, but at least reach a neutral standpoint when it comes to that person or towards that situation, and release any sort of anger or resentment again. and so that you can move forward and no longer linger in the past. So journaling might help you in creating an outlet for you to let your guard down and speak your mind and speak all of your feelings and get all of your emotions out. Or maybe it means talking to a loved one, to someone that you trust, or talking to a professional, talking to a counselor. But it seems that this facade, or like this energy, like it has to go. You know, you can only be ice cream for so long. It becomes really solitary. It becomes a really solitary life, just becoming an ice queen and not letting anyone close to you. And you might act for a while, well, I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to make me happy. I don't need this. I don't need that. I can do things on my own. And you know what? That's fine. Absolutely, you can. But it becomes a lonely, solitary life. Not having meaningful relationships in your life at one point or another, you know? So that's what this is kind of talking about, Libra. And I'm sorry that you're experiencing this. If you are experiencing this, it can definitely be challenging. And, you know, like, you're valid to feel the way that you feel. You're valid to feel this frustration or resentment or whatever it is that you feel. But at the same time, you can't always let those feelings overpower you or control you, you know? You have to become more than your feelings, or become more than your mind, and learn to honor those feelings, but not let them overcome you or overtake you. Does that make sense? So it's probably not necessarily the easiest of journeys. Healing rarely ever is, but it's always worth it. And as long as you are consistent and you commit to your practice, whatever it might be in terms of healing and opening up and expressing your feelings and so on and so forth, you'll eventually begin to see results, and it's very rewarding. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope it helps. I hope you were able to get something out of this. And with that being said, I'll talk to you later. Bye.